The escape pod screamed through Earth's atmosphere, its hull scorched and failing. Inside, Princess Zirath of the Valtorian Empire clutched her side where purple blood seeped through her ornate armor. Behind her, somewhere in the void, her father's fleet burned. The coup had been swift, brutal, and complete. She had one chance, one desperate gamble on a rumor whispered in the darker corners of the galaxy, that humanity, those strange apes from the backwater planet, couldn't resist helping the helpless. The pod crashed in a wheat field outside Topeka, Kansas. Marcus Webb was having a spectacularly normal Tuesday. He'd just finished his shift at the hardware store, grabbed a six-pack, and was looking forward to an evening of absolutely nothing when he saw the fire streak across the sky and impact his neighbor's field. "Well, hell," he muttered, setting down his beer and grabbing the fire extinguisher from his truck. What he found wasn't a satellite. The alien was beautiful in an otherworldly way, 7 feet tall with skin that shimmered like mother of pearl and eyes that held 3 distinct pupils. She was also clearly dying, her breathing shallow, her wounds grievous. "Please," she gasped in perfect English, her translator implant working overtime. "Assassins, they come. I am Princess Zirath. I need—" "Hold that thought," Marcus said, already dialing 911. Then he reconsidered and hung up. If assassins were coming, bringing cops to a wheat field seemed like a good way to get people killed. He looked at the alien princess, at the fear in her alien eyes, and made a decision that would indeed change the galaxy. "Can you walk?" I think so." "Then let's get you out of here." Marcus half-carried her to his truck, leaving a trail of purple blood through the wheat. He drove to his workshop, a converted barn on his late father's property, and kicked the door shut behind them. "Medical supplies," Zirath wheezed. In the pod, red container. Marcus sprinted back, retrieved the container, and for the next 2 hours became an impromptu alien surgeon. The medical device was intuitive enough, and Zirath talked him through the worst of it. When he finally sealed the last wound, his hands were shaking. "Thank you," she whispered. "Why did you help me?" Marcus shrugged. "Because you needed help." Seemed pretty straightforward. She stared at him as if he'd just spoken in quantum mathematics. "You don't even know who I am. You're someone bleeding in a wheat field. That's all I needed to know." Before she could respond, the barn door exploded inward. 3 figures entered, sleek and deadly in adaptive armor. Zirath tried to stand but collapsed. Marcus stepped between her and the assassins. "Gentlemen," he said calmly, "this seems like a misunderstanding." The lead assassin, a reptilian creature with too many teeth, laughed. "Human, step aside. This is not your concern. See, that's where you're wrong. This is my barn. That makes it my concern. Then you die with her." What happened next would be analyzed by xenoanthropologists for decades. Marcus had been a Marine. 20 years ago, but some things you don't forget. As the assassin raised its plasma weapon, Marcus grabbed a wrench from his workbench and threw it with practiced precision. It struck the weapon's energy cell. The explosion took out the first assassin and staggered the other 2. Marcus didn't hesitate. He grabbed his nail gun, industrial strength meant for roofing, and opened fire. Nails punched through adaptive armor that could withstand plasma bolts because nobody in the galaxy had thought to shield against primitive projectiles moving at 200 feet per second. The second assassin went down. The third, smarter, activated a shield. Marcus responded by throwing a can of paint thinner, shattering it on the shield, then tossing a road flare. The barn filled with fire. When the smoke cleared, Marcus stood over 3 unconscious aliens, a fire extinguisher in his hands, breathing hard. He turned to Zirath, who was staring at him with something approaching awe. You just defeated 3 Krell assassins with hardware store supplies." "Yeah, well," Marcus coughed. "They weren't expecting hardware store supplies." Over the next 3 days, Marcus hid the princess while 14 more assassination attempts occurred. He stopped them all with an increasingly creative array of human ingenuity. A landmine made from fireworks and a pressure plate, a trap involving fishing line and his truck battery, and in one memorable instance a swarm of very angry bees. "I don't understand," Zirath said on the 3rd night, watching him rewire his security cameras. "Why do you keep fighting? You could surrender me. Save yourself. Not really my style. But why? You gain nothing. You risk everything." Marcus paused, considering. "You know what humanity's greatest strength is? It's not our technology or our weapons. It's that we decided somewhere along the way that we're all in this together. Every single one of us. And if that extends to an alien princess bleeding in a wheat field, he shrugged. Then so be it. Ziraeth's rescue fleet arrived on the 4th day. Her loyalists had fought through the coup and tracked her beacon. As she prepared to leave, she turned to Marcus. You changed my life, Marcus Webb. I will not forget this. Just don't forget the lesson, he said. Help people who need help. Pretty simple philosophy. She smiled, a gesture that transcended species. I won't. Princess Ziraeth returned to reclaim her throne. But she returned changed. The empire that had ruled through fear and strength learned a new way. She established the first contact protocol. Help those who need help. The Marcus Doctrine, her advisors called it, though she always just called it being decent. It spread. World by world, species by species. Empires that had warred for millennia learned to extend hands instead of weapons. The galaxy didn't transform overnight, but it transformed. And it all started because a hardware store worker from Kansas couldn't walk past someone who needed help. Years later, when asked about his role in the galactic peace, Marcus Webb would shrug and say, I just did what anyone would do. But that was the thing about humanity. They actually believed that. And sometimes believing something makes it true.